Hey guys, it's joshkent from Kanga Esports here, and today my goal is to help you improve your basic aiming techniques in Paladins and your mechanics as well, which could also translate over to other games perhaps. For those that don't know me, I'm a professional Paladins player who played at Hi-Rez Expo and the recent Paladins Masters LAN with third place finishes both times. I'm going to cover a few things in this video, including what hardware to select, your settings in Windows and in-game, as well as some basic aim training exercises for different types of champions. Alright, let's get into it. First thing I want to talk about is what hardware you're running as a gamer. Now, it's important to note that hardware is purely based on the user and what they prefer. Now, personally, I'll tell you my hardware, but overall, you have to really choose your own. You have to read reviews and look at what you want in the hardware that you're choosing. So for my keyboard, I'm using an Apex M500 just because I like the way that it feels. I've had a few keyboards in the past, and SteelSeries really put a good bit of effort into this one, and I really just personally enjoy it. In terms of your mouse that you want to choose, you want something that matches what grip that you want to choose. I'll put a video down below which kind of shows you the different grips. Now, I use more of a palm grip, so the SteelSeries Rival 300 suits me quite a bit. Now, this isn't an endorsement video. I just honestly prefer the SteelSeries products, and I've had a lot of success with them. But that's what I use, and for a mousepad, I use a Quick Plus from SteelSeries as well. Kind of went with a bit of the SteelSeries theme, but in my mind that different companies make different mousepads and mouses fit each other when they're testing it. So I kind of found this combo, it works well for me, but all in all, you have to choose what you want on your own. I can't really tell you what to get. Alright, first things first, the basic mouse settings. So if you didn't know already, if you go type in mouse into your search bar, or if you just go into control panel, I'm using Windows 10, so I'm just going to do it based off of that. If you have any troubles finding it, give it a Google and see whatever platform you're running, where you can find that. In mouse properties, it gives you a few different options. You want to go to pointer options, which will give you a Windows sensitivity. So at the moment, mine is 6 out of 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's default, I believe. Now, if you've got this ticked, that means you've got mouse acceleration on. Now, the problem about mouse acceleration is it works like this. If you move your mouse really slowly from A to B, that's fine. But if you move your mouse faster, the exact same distance on your mouse pad, it will actually move your mouse further. So if I'm just spinning like this, my mouse is going super fast. Though if I move it slowly the exact same distance, it's barely moving at all. So you want to turn this off. So essentially, when you move your mouse on your mouse pad from A to B, it doesn't matter how fast you're going, so it won't actually affect you in game. So I definitely recommend turning that off. Let's click apply on that. 6 out of 11 is fine. It's default pretty much everywhere, but tweak it however you like. It's all personal preference in the end. Now let's get into game. I recommend a mouse sensitivity that is obviously comfortable for you, but low enough that you can make minor movements without having to move your mouse around too far. So if you go into options and into controls, you'll see I've got 2 set here. Now, depending on what mouse you have, I've got a SteelSeries Rival 300. I've got 1400 DPI and 2 sensitivity. Obviously don't just use mine, use something that's comfortable for you, but you want something that's low enough so that you can turn around at least to 180 on the mouse pad that you have available. And if possible, maybe like a 360. You want something where you can move your mouse fully around and not have any troubles and needing to lift your mouse off of the mouse pad in tough situations. Luckily for me, I can have quite a low sense because I have a lot of mouse pad to use. Alright, now onto the actual good stuff. How to actually practice your aim effectively in Paladins and what I do. So this might not be the most effective way, who knows, this is what I do. It seems to work for me. I'll let you decide. My goal here is to show you some things on Androxus, Eevee, and characters like Grok and Viktor. Just give you different styles of how to practice your aim. So in Paladins, there's a variety of different champions, and different aiming techniques and different projectiles, things like that. So Androxus sort of covers those hit scans like Androxus, Lex, etc. And will just help with your basic muscle memory. Eevee's more of a projectile, so I'll sort of show you how to aim practice with her as much as I can. And characters like Viktor, where you just need to sort of practice your scanning and like your hit scan ability, which is quite different to Androxus, more flicks on Androxus. So as you can see me here as Androxus, my main goal is to go into the training grounds and into the big sky room. What you want to do is essentially try and not just shoot at your targets. Like, it's not hard to hit these guys, they're standing still. What you want to do is practice your muscle memory. So as you can see me, I'm doing a combination of things. Generally I'm just running and jumping around and trying to shoot them, so that kind of adds in a bit more difficulty since you're not standing still. One thing I'm doing is trying to practice flicks. Now, Paladins is a very mobile game and champions are flying all over the joint. You're not going to just hit an Eevee that's soaring away in all of these random angles if you're just trying to trace her as Androxus. You want to build that muscle memory, so you want to just flick and practice flicking, and this will get you the best results when you're actually in the game. You're tracking an Eevee who's moving slowly, then she starts flying away. You'll just be able to flick and hit her. And you'll really notice this. If you just for a few days, like 10 minutes before you start playing, I guarantee you'll notice a big difference. So, as you see, I'm just running around, doing some flicks, shooting once at them, dashing up into a weird angle, trying to hit them as fast as I can, and just generally messing around. Now, what you're seeing, this is generally what I do for about 5 to 10 minutes before a big game. And that's about it. It's not that hard. You just need to get in there, build that muscle memory, and over time you'll develop it, and it will pay off in your games, and hopefully you'll see a rise in elo. Now we'll switch on to Eevee. Eevee's an interesting one. I generally do a combination of things. Generally in the sky room, I'll go like a wormhole build, and my main goal is trying to like practice against getting those like one hits on the low HP champions like Kinessa and Sky, things like that. And it's nothing more satisfying than just shooting a bullet across the map, blinking up into the air, and then both like colliding on the Kinessa or whatever at the same time. So a lot of the time I'm just sort of practicing firing one bullet, jumping up into the air, and then trying to make them both hit at the same time. Now obviously there's a bit of recoil when you're in the air, so the goal is to just know that you would have hit it. You just want your cursor over the target. And with Eevee, it's really important to get those shots out really fast. So you want to blink up, look at your target, and shoot them as fast as you can. I'll also do this sort of combination. I'll like blink, shoot, soar around, shoot again, and then just mess around, generally practicing my mechanical skill. If you do this, I'm sure you'll get better at Eevee, but it sort of just helps you practice those projectiles. Now Drogus, you could do similar things. You could fly around, do 360s, try and shoot things, shoot your spit while you're in the air, then like let yourself fall to the ground, things like that. But I'm just sort of giving you ideas of how you can practice while you're in the training grounds. I'm not going to do a guide on all 24 heroes or whatever we're up to now. It's kind of up for you to decide the best way how you want to practice, because this is what works for me. I guarantee you not everyone does it this way, and nor should they. Everyone has their own personal preferences. Finally, I'll move on to Viktor. Viktor's probably the, like other than Grok, probably like the most tracking intensive hero, because not only are you tracking, but you're practicing your recoil as well. I don't really practice this that much, but I just wanted to give you an idea on like all of the types of champions in Paladins. So Viktor being the more tracking style, thought I'd give you an insight of how you possibly could practice. So my recommendation is simply just jump in the training grounds and just track. Move around, hold down your scope, and just track targets. Go from one to another. Do something like you're seeing me do here. It's not that hard to find good ways to practice, and you don't need people like me telling you the best way. You just need to figure out something for yourself. Now, I'll wrap the video up here, guys. It's all in all, I just wanted to like open your eyes to, firstly, just the basic mouse settings. If you hadn't had experience with that and you needed someone to tell you to turn mouse acceleration off, that's fine. We've all been there. I was there a number of years ago myself. Someone told me about mouse acceleration. I had no idea what it was. Secondly, your hardware sort of stuff, that's simple. You just choose what feels good for me, what I showed you at the start of the video, that feels good for me. I'm probably not going to change. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. I just like what it feels like, how it feels like. What else do we cover? The mouse settings, like your sensitivity and things like that, it's all personal preference. Obviously, you can't have a super high sensitivity. You're just not going to be able to do those micro movements, and your flicks are going to be less accurate. Now, there are definitely some pro players with super high sensitivity, and it's honestly a burden. I don't understand why they do it. They're used to it, sure, I understand that, but if you've got a super high sensitivity, if you've got something that's 5 or 6 times my sensitivity, you can figure that out yourself. It's too high. You need to lower it. You need to be able to make micro adjustments while you're aiming at someone, while you're tracking. And your flicks are just not going to be on point if you've got a high sensitivity. Then in terms of just in the training ground with Androxus and other champions, just mess around. Sit in the sky room. It's got the most targets. Jump around, shoot, and just kind of pretend you're in a game and like try and recreate scenarios of how you can kill different people. So, for example, you saw on Androxus me shooting once, dashing somewhere, and trying to flick back on them as fast as possible. That's a technique as Androxus you should use all the time. Same with Eevee. Shooting once, blinking into the air, shooting again, wormholing around, soaring around, things like that. You just want to recreate a possible scenario you could face in the game with any champion. I'm going to wrap that up there, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Make sure you thumbs up the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll try and release content as regularly as possible. Make sure to follow at Kanga Esports on Twitter and at joshkent OCE as well for more content, regular tweets, pictures of my mustache, things like that. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you have a good one.